Koutou katoa tonight on City News. Marches were held in the city yesterday against domestic violence. It's not too late to audition for Rotorua Musical Theatre's production of Mamma Mia, and Rotorua Intermediate students' success at the Ames game will be recognised at a special assembly. But first, Waiariki MP and Māori Party co-leader Rotorua Flavel says regardless of polls, he's campaigning right up until the eve of the election. Various polls have Rotorua ahead in Waiariki, but he says he's still going to be campaigning around the country in coming days.
The Waiariki electorate has actually within it the equivalent of 4 other electorates. They all come in and dissect the electorate. So it starts from Waihi in the north to East Cape in the east and down to Turangi, so it's a big area. So we've been out and about, all the billboards have been up, and we're really just sort of in the last short period of time, in the last remaining days of the election, we're pulling everything down. We've done all the delivery of brochures, etc., done radio interviews, etc., so I think we're in a good space. And we air
Tururua's interview tomorrow night, the final in our series focusing on Rotorua and Waiariki candidates. Marches were held in the city yesterday against domestic violence. The first was held midday to coincide with a sister event in Wellington.
So the march is to raise awareness of domestic and sexual violence in New Zealand, and the main march is in Wellington today at this time, but obviously a lot of people can't afford to go down there, so the main organisers were asking people to organise their own marches if they wanted to.
Annie, I see that the Mana Party have shown up. Well, why is it important to be here today to talk on this event?
I think it's really important that political movements inside and outside Parliament support women's movements, and when we got the email this morning commemorating 2 things, that on the Friday this week it's 121 years since women got the vote, and leaders like the late Kate Shepherd and Mere Manga Kahia have always been heroines for me, so it wasn't too hard for us to muster support. I know that at 11 o'clock this morning in Parliament there was a significant number of women from Wellington that walked there, and we're here in solidarity with those women.
Later in the day, more community groups showed their support.
Domestic violence has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Domestic violence has to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Domestic violence has to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Domestic violence has to go.
Rotorua Musical Theatre is holding auditions this weekend for their upcoming production of Mamma Mia. Rotorua is among a handful of theatre companies around the world to be given rights to perform the show. Mamma Mia production manager Richard Marshall says it's a 1 in 30-year chance for locals to act in the worldwide hit.
We've got auditions this coming Friday and Saturday for anyone who's wanting to be part of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So it's not often that you get a show that's still running on Broadway, still running on the West End, coming to your local town. So this is your one and only chance to be part of it here in Rotorua. It won't be coming back for another 20 or 30 odd years. So if you do want to get in touch with us to come along and audition, we'd love to hear from you.
And if you can't wait for the local production of Mamma Mia, how about sampling the annual musical production from Rotorua Boys and Girls High Schools? Aida opened last night at the Civic Theatre to high expectation, following on from the box office success of their last production, Jesus Christ Superstar. You'll have to see the show to judge for yourself. For information, contact Rotorua Boys High. In sport tonight, Rotorua Intermediate planned to celebrate their students' success at last week's Ames Games. The school picked up medals in tennis, rugby league, swimming and basketball. And this year, a record number of schools competed at the Games, with 7,500 intermediate-aged school children competing. To your weather update now. Tonight, rain clearing, northwesterlies, overnight a low of 7. Tomorrow Wednesday, morning showers, westerlies, a high of 15 and low of 3. Outlook for Thursday, a few showers developing, northwest freshening, a high of 14 and low of 6. Marine forecast for Lake Rotorua for Wednesday, westerly 20 knots easing at night, mainly fine, a chance of showers. Still to come tonight on City News, we catch up with the Registrar of Electors, Richard Marshall, to remind unenrolled voters that it's not too late to do so. We find out about the ENT conference currently on in the city, and we cover last week's Inner City Focus meeting.
down to speak with Richard Marshall, who is the Registrar for Rotorua, Taupo and Waiariki. Richard, can you just talk a little bit about your role and what it entails?
Sure. I'm responsible for looking after the electoral rolls here for Rotorua, Taupo and Waiariki. What we do is we encourage as many people as possible to update their details and make sure that they are enrolled for the upcoming elections or referendum that happen throughout the time.
And so how do people go about doing that?
It's very easy to update your details. So you can call into any post shop, a library, courthouse, or come into our office here and check your details on the electoral roll. If they do need to be updated, there's a form that you fill in. It takes around about 30 seconds to complete.
And so how late can you get your enrolment details in? What's the cut-off date?
So at the moment we have the general election this coming Saturday, the 20th of September. So people do need to be enrolled and have their details up to date by Friday at the end of this week. So Friday the 19th of September is the last day to update your details for the upcoming general election.
There's this new program coming out for the children, a enrolment program. Do you know much about that?
For the kids voting? Yes, what's happening is nationwide there are packages that have been sent out to schools to encourage people to participate in learning about the voting system. So it's teaching them from an earlier age so that when they do get to the age of voting, they'll have a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of experience there to hopefully guide them through that process.
And that helps it from being so foreign to people.
Definitely. They've got a little bit of a background knowledge there. Yeah.
What general age are voters?
That's a tricky question. It will depend. Each election is different. I know that this election they've had a lot of advance votes cast already, so at the moment it's just over 150,000 advance votes have been cast prior to the election happening. So that's going to be interesting after we look at the stats after polling day to see what age brackets have voted. Okay. Yeah.
So let's talk about polling day. If you're a first-time voter, what do you do? What does it look like down there, and where do you go?
It's very easy. So at the moment, people can go and do an advance vote here in Rotorua. They can go to the Zen Centre, which is the old IRD building on Rotorua Street. It's on level 2 there, open from 10 till 4. Pop in, do an advance vote. It's very simple. You walk in, say who you are, they'll look for your name on the electoral roll, and then they'll hand you your voting papers.
Okay.
And on election day, it's very similar. If you've received your Easy Vote card in the mail, tear that out of the letter and take that along with you, and it will speed the process up.
Now, I actually haven't received my Easy Vote card. Does that mean I can still vote?
It means that you need to check your details fairly quickly to make sure that you are enrolled and enrolled at the correct address. So yes, you probably still can vote, but please do get in touch with us and just check that your details are up to date. The Easy Vote cards have all been sent out now, so if you haven't received one in the mail, then please get in touch with us. Jump onto our website, elections.org.nz, check your enrolment details there. Phone 0800 36 76 56 or call into our office here at 6 Waterford Street, Rotorua, and we can check for you and help you update your details if you need to.
So whereabouts are the polling stations and how many of them do we have in Rotorua?
So there are a number all around Rotorua that will be open on polling day. In the Easy Vote packs that people will have received, there's a list of where you can go and do a vote. It's predominantly schools around the town, community halls, places that are easily accessible for people. Look for the orange polling booth signs out the front on election day, and that's where you will be able to go and vote. There are a couple of other advanced places available now as well. I know there's one at Nungutaha where people can go and do an advance vote from today. They just need to double check and look up on the website where they are, or give us a call and we can let them know where those places are.
And do they have to go to the closest voting station?
Not at all, no. So if you're out and about and you see a polling station, zip in there and cast your vote, and then it's one thing you can cross off your list for Saturday.
Okay. Hey, look, thank you so much, Richard.
Thank
Is there
you.
anything else you'd like to add?
Just make sure that you are enrolled by Friday, please. Give us a call or pop in and see us and we can check your details for you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Have you had experience with ears, nose or throat diseases or disorders within your family? Well, coming to Rotorua is a huge conference. We're going to talk about this conference with Dr. Chris Lowe, who is the conference organiser. So Chris, why is it important to have a conference like this?
we have this conference every year, and it helps us to educate ourselves. It's part of our continuous medical education. It's the only way that a lot of specialists in New Zealand can come together to meet each other, to learn from each other, and to work together.
So what kind of things are going to be covered in the conference?
We have a wide range of topics and of lectures and workshops covering a wide range of conditions involving the ear, nose and throat. And ENT specialty has expanded. It covers a lot of conditions generally on the head and neck area as well.
And so what does ENT stand for?
ENT stands for ear, nose and throat. So any conditions affecting the ears, nose or throat, we take an interest in.
And why is it important to take an interest in the ears, nose and throat? What sort of disorders or conditions can come about from any of those areas?
I can speak in relation to Rotorua. This is an area where there's a prevalent problem of glue ear, particularly in Maori population, possibly because of the damp nature of the area. Also, it can be related to smoking. And glue ear is a condition where young children can get temporary deafness, and they can be disadvantaged in terms of learning and education.
So this is a personal development or professional development workshop, and who's it aimed at? Is it just hospital workers that are coming to it, or is it all around the community or different workers that work in the medical profession?
This conference is targeted for all ENT specialists or people wanting to be ENT specialists, junior doctors who are in training. But it also, we also welcome and have invited our allied specialties. So people who do hearing tests like audiologists are coming to our conference. People who are speech and language therapists to do with throat and swallowing problems are also coming to our conferences.
Now you did say that it's an annual conference. Is this the first time it's been here in Rotorua?
This is the first time that I know of it in Rotorua. It is our 67th annual conference, so we've had it for a number of years now. So this year, the 67th year, will be held in Rotorua.
And why has it been brought to Rotorua?
We've been invited to have it in Rotorua because I think people perceive Rotorua as a wonderful place to come to. People like coming here because of fantastic outdoor facilities. And also, I think if it hasn't been in Rotorua before, it's a novel experience for them.
Who have you worked with in bringing this conference here?
My other organising committee are two of my ENT colleagues here who work in Lakes DHB. They are Wilfred Wongtoy and Gary Beck. And we have a colleague called Julian White at Waikato Hospital, and he's also he's our fourth organising committee.
And has it been an easy task?
It's been a lot of work. Yes, it's been a lot of work.
What's your lineup of speakers like?
We have international speakers, whom we call them keynote speakers. They are invited from various international countries, people who have done a lot of amazing work and have achieved international recognition. And we have local speakers who make up the rest of the lectures. Our international speakers this year, we have invited people like Nick Rowland from the UK. He's actually the president of the Head and Neck Society in the UK. We have got two American speakers, Seth Pransky, who is a pediatric otolaryngologist. That means he specializes in children. And we have Patrick Antonelli, who is an ear specialist in America. And they both are very well known in their field. We have a head and neck surgeon called John Yu from Canada. He's also a very respectable international surgeon, head and neck surgeon from Canada. And finally, we have a rhinologist who is called Saleh Nair, who works in Middlemore Hospital. Before he came, he was actually in London. He's again an international, well-renowned speaker.
Why is it important to have that blend of speakers?
Yes, it's important to have speakers of different specialty, subspecialty I would say, because within ENT you can break it up to ear specialty, nose specialty, throat specialty. So it's important to have people who only specialize in that specialty, that they can go further and become one of the top people in that subspecialty. And it's important that most of us who are what we call generalists, who have to be good with every area, but we won't be as good as the subspecialty, the people who are subspecialty. And we invite those people particularly to help educate us.
And so when is the conference going to take place?
The conference is starting on the 13th of October and it goes on till the 16th of October. And right at the end of the 16th of October, which is a Thursday, we recommend them to go to the night market to have their dinner.
So this is a big call for all those in the Rotorua community who work in that area of expertise to come along to this conference?
Absolutely. Anyone who feels they can be involved or all welcome to come. Yes.
And how do they find out about it?
We have advertised in various journals. We have advertised on the website and through sort of collegial interaction.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Chris. It sounds like a great event, and I hope that we all get well educated about ear, nose and throat. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mike, you're saying something really interesting there, so can you please continue with the plans for the City Focus?
Okay, well, City Focus is only one of the things that we're actually discussing tonight. But basically, what we're sort of saying with the City Focus is that when it was designed in 1990, there was a whole different culture evolved around why we established the City Focus, and that was that we needed to have a centre, we needed a place for people to gather. Social habits were different, shopping habits were different. At the time that the City Focus was established, I think probably 95 to 98% of Titanico Street was full. We had a full complement of employees within the post office building, which was 450 employees. So you had a lot of above ground office space, with professional, semi-professional, lawyers, doctors, accountants, this sort of thing. So there was a larger number of people within the CBD, and the use of the City Focus was different to what it is now. In that time, over that time, big box retailing has been established, Rotorua Central has been established, social habits have changed, shopping habits have changed, that professional and semi-professional office space has been vacated to over south of or west of Reynolds Street. The post office, of course, is gone. So that building became, that was 450 people taken out of the CBD all in one go. So the use of the Focus now is quite different. And we've found that a number of stakeholders and also retailers have sort of said that it's very difficult to trade in that Titanico Street area because of the breakup of the traffic and the fact that it's difficult to move around and manoeuvre. So what we're suggesting is that we trial the opening it up to traffic north-south in the first instance and seeing how that will actually have an impact or what an effect that will actually have. We also want to discuss opening up, perhaps removing the sails on a temporary basis to see whether opening it up to light and sun and that sort of thing will make a difference, replanting the gardens in that area and just giving it a fresh new look. It's tired, it's 24 years old and nothing has been done to it in 24 years, so we feel that it's time to address it, to look at it and to perhaps discuss all the various different possibilities that it can be used and to see whether it's effective to get a movement of traffic, because we're trying to strengthen Titanico Street as the spine, linking the lakefront, in the northern end to Rotorua Central at the southern end. And if we can get that line of sight and that visual impact going down the length of Te Tanako Street, we feel that that's actually going to help majorly in the revitalisation strategy that we're trying to engender, get more people coming into the city centre. Certainly that there's a lot more pedestrian traffic now in the city centre than there was even 12 or 18 months ago. So, yep, we're about to start.
We have now advertised that, and in fact it's gone on radio, so this is the first of about 3, and we'll show you on one of the maps where the others are going to be. The night market, there are plans to extend that round the corner into Haupapa Street with the library with late night opening, because there's a bunch of people queuing to have market stalls, and we run out of room there. Unison, who do the lights there, are highly engaged in the Lighting Rotorua project, and we're hoping to get a whole bunch more lights, particularly down that Haupapa Street as well as all over the city. So the idea is that in this space, we've currently got one seat here, that we will have a changing floral installation. Currently the speed round it is about 5k. So we're not expecting the north-south traffic flow to be a racetrack. We're not expecting, and what would that do, and why would we do that? That's a mock-up of what that might look like and how that would work with planter boxes. Now, you say, well, you know, how exciting is that? Well, A, it hasn't cost us very much money. It's a trial. We can change it, and we can change it back. And these are the things that are really important when we have a conversation, because this is a hot spot for some people. And we're trying to have a conversation without ending up in the keep it in the napalm camp. Because there are there's a huge polarity about a love or hate with this. So this is what we would like your feedback on whether you think we should go ahead with this trial. The good thing is, if we suddenly wanted it for a public space to put on the dancers or whatever, we just move the planter boxes and close it up. Currently the bollards, I hope you've all seen them, have just been yarn bombed. So that's an option for this space. So we've just simply taken its roof off. The sales were really on trend in the 1990s, but they're a little passé now as a roofing option in a major city. So what else should we do? We've removed them, okay. So we've now got some great, what the artists call armatures, big poles. Imagine what that would look like at night. You light them up, you can change the lighting if you want, you could have water flowing down, you could have geothermal steam coming up. You'd actually want to go there and see them. So that's a potential, let's use our existing infrastructure. And again, it's about creating drama. This would be a project that went out to artists to consult on. This is just something to, whet your appetite, really. Not a given, and we're not, certainly there's a few of us that really like it.
And public feedback is being sought on a couple of plans discussed at the Inner City Focus meeting. Visit the council website to find out more. If you have a news event TV Rotorua can support, call our office and talk with one of the team on 07 3488984 or email news@tvrotorua.co.nz. Thanks for watching tonight. From all the team here at City News, ko Māori.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.